Let's do. Yo, what is going on, everybody? We are here with Cleanup and Kirk from Melting Moonboys. How you guys doing today?
Well, I'm not from Melting Moonboys, unfortunately.
Well, Clean's not.
Yeah.
But Kirk,
We must sell you yet.
is.
Come on now. Stay melty, man.
Yeah.
Yo, so how is everybody?
I'm good, actually. So I don't know I think some people know, but I've been trying to sell my house for a few months now. And my parents finally decided to go through with a deal from an investor, which has turned out to be a bad decision on one of our homes before. So we're hoping that they don't kind of keep us kind of going for like 2 to 3 months like the last investor did. But we settled for, what was it, $361. So we're going to lock in that price. And I guess things are going to be moving a bit quick too, because they said it's going to all happen within a month. So I guess I have to like get out of here in a month and then get ready to go to the new house,
sure.
which isn't even finished being built yet. So I don't know what we're going to do. It's going to be a crazy month.
It's you know, like it's just like selling an NFT, man. Like, you know, if there's a high liquidity for it, which there is, the housing market, like there's already a bunch of systems to help sell your house. I can't believe how quickly it's moving now. Like, despite the different changes in the levels, like how fast you can sell a house versus 30 years ago, it's crazy.
We had our house on the market for almost 2 months. It's been about a month and a half, but we had to lower the price. They wanted originally 400, but but I was like, I think it's too overpriced. So we came down a little bit, and you know, the new house is going to be built pretty soon, I think by February. So they wanted to make sure that we had a deal set in place before we moved. So we just settled at 130 or 361.
Nice. That was a good deal. Especially you started before, that is good.
Did you work out a deal to where it's like you get a cut of it? Because it's like, well, I lived here too, you know. And like...
Hey, I'm just happy I don't pay mortgage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't make me pay rent. You know, my parents still cook dinner sometimes, so you know I can't complain.
It has.
That's a really good deal.
Don't get me wrong. Like you can still sell a house, pretty well right now, obviously, but it has somewhat slowed down a little bit. But still, it's kind of crazy to think like, you know, I bought my house in a basically it was for like I think 70. And right now when we got it appraised, because we did a refi, they valued it almost like 330. So it was like,
how many years later is that?
Almost a 2x. So 5 or 6 years later. So I can only imagine what it will be like in 15, 20 years when we try to sell it. And then how long were your parents in their current location?
So this house, we moved when I was 10. I'm 29 now. So 19 years we've lived in this house.
They made a fat bank off of this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember what we paid. I think it was like 180. I think it was 180.
Yeah, it's a 20-year hodl, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, when was it? That was like 20 years ago. So that would have been 2003.
Somewhere around there.
Right? 2002, 2003. Yeah, they made a pretty good. Like probably
I hope so anyway. Yeah, I hope they make bank and they feel like super happy about their thing, you know, because like sometimes selling a house can be hard on a person, you know. So I hope it's like a victory lap, like
It's like a thank God, because we're sick of showing the house and like going through open house after open house, and you know, a lot of the times it's been like, hey, this person wants to view the house in an hour. Is that cool? And my parents are desperate, so we're like, yeah. And then they're just like, Nick, get
places.
Out. You know, like you get out of the house. So I have to take the dogs. I have to like jump in the truck, find somewhere to go real quick for like an hour or two, and then come back. And if God forbid I'm streaming, you know, I've had to cancel streams before. I've had to like, you know, stop video recordings in the middle of them and then come back later and like try to find myself. It's a hassle, but I'm glad personally that it's done. It's not the price that they wanted, but it's not horrible. So
right. And
it's
so
manageable.
You'll probably have to stay at a hotel, I bet, or something.
I'm assuming something like that. I might hit up a friend and be like, yo, can I just stay with you for like a month? All I need is Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's it. What's the password? So I think, it's kind of crazy because during a showing one time, they woke me up. I was working third shift, right? And so I wouldn't go to bed. I just had my first kid, and you know, they called and we were trying to sell like our first house, and I was like, okay, they're gonna be there in like 45 minutes or whatever. So I just remember rushing, getting my kid bundled up. Like it's during the winter, you know, because we sold in like December, and getting my kid bundled up, and then all we did was park down the street like a little ways with the car warmer on and stuff, and like waited for him, watch him leave, and then of course like that was one of the first people that we showed it to, and there was an offer like right then and there, because you could see they were like,
nice.
Just by walking out of the house, they were like, oh, I like this is cool, and they kept on like posing by it and stuff like that for pictures, and I was like, this is it, let's go.
That's awesome.
So yeah, sorry Kirk, I didn't mean to monopolize.
No man, I dig the story. I'm just like, you know, I am a fidgeter, man, like, you know, ADD from way back, like back when it was called ADD back then. And I've stopped trying to medicate it. Yeah.
No, I actually like the fact that you say that too, because I think too much of us people are like, oh, I need this medication to stop me from being this or being that. It's like, why not just be that? There's a bunch of different personalities and people in the world. Why not just be that?
Yeah, no, unless it's really causing you harm or someone else harm.
Right.
Probably not a big deal, you know, but unfortunately we're not exactly living in that kind of a time. Yeah, we're living in a very pearl clutching, oh my stars kind of a time. So,
right. And so that's one thing that I noticed. So you have kids. You're live from your kids' room.
That's right.
Okay.
This is Kirk's Playhouse right here.
This is it.
But not with the Pee-wee edition. Yeah.
And so, you know, I have a real problem because the school is trying to diagnose my kid with ADD.
Oh, well, I mean, I will tell you this. The new stuff is much better. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but it is an amphetamine salt. I'm interested in all this stuff. And like I was taking it for a really long time, and it was really useful, but it's not made to take forever. It's like the newer stuff is like, because it's been around for so long, it's really made to give you a tune-up and then like move on. So like it's like Zoloft is supposed to, like, you're not really supposed to, you can, if it's working for you, never stop, obviously. But like it's what it's made to do, and what they're working on is stuff that like fixes up your brain chemistry a little bit, and then you don't take it anymore. This is why you have to keep checking in with the shrink, because you say, hey, I'm actually feeling really anxious. Maybe I need more Zoloft. And this actually happened to me. And he goes, actually, sometimes if you have too much, then you'll end up feeling the symptoms as though, even worse, is the, you know, the opposite of what you're supposed to have. And I was like, well, geez, like, you know, do I take more? And he said, no, you have to actually take less. You have to decrease, and like we have to keep an eye on it. And like that's an important step. And I know not everybody hits that step, but it was really good for me. And so like it's not that people don't over diagnose and over prescribe this stuff. They absolutely do. But we just like need to keep an eye on it. Like my kids are very young, so 4 and 1, and I'm anticipating these conversations. And when I was young, like my parents always said, oh, just hide it. Like I'm also really dyslexic, and like I hid a lot from diagnosis and stuff like that. I got caught by a very smart guy in high school, but even then I was like, well, keep it under your hat, and he got it. So like if you're just old enough, you'll remember that kind of stuff could get you in trouble. Yeah. Nowadays it really won't, and that's good. And I hope that holds. I mean, I really do. I don't want to see a pushback on that. So I would say, like, if they want to examine it, what you should do is, like, just like with crypto, it's DOIR. The resources online are better than ever. And I'm not talking about Wikipedia. That's just what it always has been, you know, and like, just be active, or definitely tell them, you know, well, look, we're going to try to handle it our own way, because ultimately anybody who has loco parentis, anyone who's watching your children, can't make an argument that's not behavioral. So like, unless they're doing something bad, you can always be like, this is not fair. This is a normal life thing. And like, you just talk to them like gentle folk, and they'll understand. That's my experience and my advice.
Yeah. And like, What's up, Rafriki? Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. But
Yeah, cool.
when I think about my kid or whatever, like he's just a boy, and I remember what I was like when I was a boy. You know what I'm saying? And I have two daughters. So I can kind of gauge the room, gauge the situation. I know each person's different, but I will say with boys, the activity level is completely different. Like my daughters are good. Like they're just chilling. They're like, I have a chai latte. I'm feeling good.
I have girls too.
But my son is complete chaos, dude. He's throwing, bro. He constantly wants to throw this ball up against the wall. So I was like, no, we're going out in the garage. Let's play catch or whatever. And so we do that every night. And it's just kind of like, dude, like boys are very different than girls, especially at a young age. They need to go out, they need play, they need like the social.
It's 100% true. It's hormones.
It's
like we underestimate what testosterone or estrogen can do to a body, but we shouldn't, because that's what does it to make you an adult. Like you are born, and then essentially nature's hormone therapy develops you. That and anything you might do to yourself, like like some kind of ritual or something.
It says during puberty, boys' testosterone levels boost almost 4,000%.
Holy crap!
And I think those numbers are soft, if you want to know the truth. Like I think that we are like biased against those kinds of numbers. I think it's much higher, and I think that the way in which it does. And I used to work developmental, and I'll say there's no scientific evidence for this, but there's a lot of anecdote that sort of like folks with autism that are men tend to be less severe than folks that are women. And this doesn't obviously account for the full spectrum, but it's just something that I experienced working there. And like, and it's just because like, to me, it would seem that it is connected to testosterone, even though maybe it's not actually correlated. Like there's definitely some kind of like relation. Like one of the gentlemen I worked with, he had very pronounced features that come with like a testosterone imbalance, right? Like very hairy arms. And he was like my age, and it was kind of weird because just kind of like a weird mirror image. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But like he was a really good guy, really good artist. One of those guys that could like draw all kinds of stuff. He loved to draw cartoons. So people were like, well, he can only draw cartoons. And it's like, ask him to draw something else. Yeah, it's really interesting. But yeah, he had these and he would work out for like 3 hours a day. And if you didn't stop him, I don't know what would happen. I think he would have like stopped on the thing. And that said, after my long rambling thing, I'm going to just give you a piece of totally unorthodox, unqualified advice that I myself am trying to pursue. I don't know if you guys have tried yoga. Yoga is pretty impressive stuff. I think it's probably a lot more important than people have been letting on. Again, I have absolutely nothing backing me up. I'm just talking for fun here. But it also it has an interaction with whatever it is that regulates your hormones in your system. And it will change your life. And it's also a non-competitive sport. So let's say you have your kid, you have your mat, right? You have a very small amount of space. There's a lot of different ways to make those motions like a bit fun. And in general, it's not religious. It's calisthenic in nature. There's a lot of, like, if you look at the resurrection of the Olympic Games in the 1800s, there's a huge connection to like the calisthenic movement. It comes out from India. It's yoga. Yoga is actually Neolithic, at least. It's older than writing. I think it has a logos quality to it. There's like when you go through these different Sanskrit things, there's a serious question in my mind, which comes first, the actual word or the motion, and like the written word. I'm not sure. I think the motion probably is a very early part of how you construct the word. Like how you go.
What does yoga help with exactly? Does it help with like stress levels or like testosterone, anything like that?
Again, unscientifically, absolutely everything. I'm like 38. I always say I'm 40 because I just like getting used to it. But like, when I first started, I needed glasses to read and glasses to see far away. And I can't swear the yoga did this, but I don't anymore. In fact, like I can't use them. I've always needed them. And now if I put them on, they don't work. Like it makes me so I can't see. It's like Spider-Man. I don't know what.
So is yoga something that you do daily?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If I can, like if you can't, you can't. It's like life goes on. But it's also a lot more. I used to lift weights. I did a lot of the different regimens and whatever. Nothing works like this. It's awesome. I have to anytime. These are two things I recommend to everybody. It drives them crazy. Number one is yoga. Number two is Cardano. And my real life drives me nuts. Everyone online is always like, "Oh, I can't tell my friends and family." I'm like, "Yeah, I wish I had that. I wish I had that drive to not tell people stuff, but I don't have it."
The one thing that I recommend is if you have like joint pain or any sort of like arthritis, stuff like that. I went to a acupuncturist, and it was this really buff dude. I was expecting like, I don't know, but this dude looked like he had just
like
never got out the gym.
right? Like, no, they'd be surprised.
Yeah, and he was like, so what hurts? And my arm was like stuck, like I couldn't like flex it all the way. It was like stuck like this. I couldn't go full like that or something. It was like messed up. And he put like a needle in my knee and a needle in like my finger or something like that. And he was like, all right, just lay there for a bit. And I was like, okay. And he's like, all right, now sit up and tell me, like, try to move your arm. And it just folded. It just like flopped, like the most limp ever. I was just like, I was just like in shock. I almost had like a tear come out of my eye. I was like, I can move my arm instantly just by this dude putting a needle in there. And then he put some needles, like, like I think like one was like here, like near my eye, and a few other places. I lay there for 45 minutes. I felt stoned. I felt like, I was like, this is incredible. And then I got up.
That's 100% the reports I hear from people for whom acupuncture works. I got a friend who actually is doing acupuncture in Florida. Are you guys in Florida?
Georgia, so close enough.
It's not. It's different.
No,
anyways, he's in Florida, and I couldn't get him out of it. But his roommate, who's also doing acupuncture, he's a mixed martial artist. And I know my friend, he's not a mixed martial artist. He spent 10 years on an ashram, but he's also he'd throw you if you met him. He's not your average. He's a lot like me. He's another New York Jew, and he talks like one. So it's like, hey, I'm going to do some acupuncture on you. Is sort of like his pitch, but he's very good. And like it's a very diverse medicine because it has this like part of Ayurveda, which is like the Chinese medicine. And it's essentially just a totally different approach because like, we actually got into this on a space. I don't know if you guys know Moisey Along. He's awesome, that guy. Yeah, he's totally cool. And we got into a pretty philosophical place about like, what is it? Are humans bumbling idiots that accidentally might have struck fire and then went with it? Or are humans intense, strong creatures that bang the rock against the other rock until it frickin' worked and then stood around the burning fire they made and said, no, only the special people can enter here because I can't trust you with this thing. It was too hard to make. So that's obviously my position because it had a much longer explanation. But but yeah, that's what I think. So it got to that place. And when you're dealing here, even we deal with Ayurveda, like their approach is just antithetical to the way that we do logic in the West. So we kind of have this inheritance from the Victorian era, and we have a bias towards utilitarianism, but we don't do utilitarianism. With the kind of logic we use is called positivism, and it's not being positive. It's positive. Like I posit the idea. It's essentially like the humanities version of the scientific method. But what it doesn't account for is like a heuristic approach, sort of like what we call common sense. You can't have that because it's all a priori because you're positing the idea in a vacuum. So like Ayurveda is the opposite. You don't approach the body as though, okay, there's nothing here. Everything's sterile. Something's wrong with this thing. They approach it like your body isn't just part of the general biosphere with these different inflections. And we want to make sure that everything's balanced. Like there's not to say that there's anything wrong with either kind of medicine. It's just interesting that the two don't really interact because there's such different approaches. It really would round it out. And with acupuncture, the sheer amount of stuff it cures, or not cures, but at least treats, is crazy. Because we talk a lot about psychedelics, and psilocybin, and the therapeutic effects of the psychedelic experience. We talk a lot about that on crypto Twitter. I've never seen anything like it, honestly. And this has a similar factor. Like you said, you felt stoned. People who've done acid very often say it feels like acid. Mostly the people who don't say that haven't done acid.
I've maybe, but
was it similar?
No, the acupuncture for me, I felt tranquil, but slightly high. It wasn't colors got brighter and I was starting to laugh and be a little giddy. I didn't really experience anything like that. But I do agree with the benefits of psilocybin and stuff like that. But just to change the subject a little bit, because I did want to talk about melting Moonboys, and then we also do need to get into the Fed talk before I think that starts in 40 minutes. So we'll get into melting Moonboys. So
yeah, awesome.
What was the mint price for Melting Moonboys, and how long ago did you guys mint out?
So I think we minted out like 4 months ago, and back then I was not on the team. I didn't get on the team until like a couple weeks ago. I just really like the art, and I didn't try to mint it. It minted for 100, but my mint luck is just god awful. It's terrible stuff. I always mint low, so I was like, look, I never get wings. I'm going for wings. I saw the devil wings, and I was like, okay, I'm sold on this project. But it's also like for my personal take, it's part of a kind of art I really like, which is a version of this like retro kind of 1950s art, and it has its own like school. Like there's some folk, like some people are doing some pretty high level stuff. It's a little bit similar to the guy that like Bob Camp and stuff that did Ren and Stimpy, but it's a little bit more detailed and severe than that. I don't know if you guys ever read like Milk and Cheese comic books. Yeah, like it's in that vein. Now he's cute. Melty is cute, and like these guys are cute, so it's a little bit less like aggressive, and I like that too. So immediately I'm like, this is one of the ways that can actually cross over, like in my mind, and like that's something I'm always really interested in. I like come from an entertainment background. That's the stuff that I really like. And when I look at this, when I see an NFT situation, the thing I was like is, why are we selling like these big blankets of concept art? I just got here like, you know, a little bit ago. I kind of arrived at the space as Cardano was first doing the NFT thing. And like, so it was all new to me at the time, but it was like, you know, why are we doing these blankets of concept art like this? And like, I started to understand that that's not what we were doing. It was just similar to the way that you might produce like a piece of concept art to send to like an animation studio or something. And then say, okay, here's the scene. Here are the guys, like now make them go on canoes. Now make them like, you know, go to space. Now make them, you know, dance the jig, whatever. Like that's how it's done. Like a lot of times you farm out for it. So you send like a sheet like this with all the different things and say, here's the universe. And they'll send you back like 50,000 panels and something like that. So like it attracted me to me. I was attracted right away and kind of just like started promoting it on my Twitter until I kind of got accepted. Now here I am.
The Moonboys definitely have that. I think it's like, what would you call it, pop culture or pop art clean? Because to me that's what it looks like to me. It looks like very clean. Like the backgrounds are very, you know, not bland but like simplistic. They're not you know, super busy, and the artwork, even though it has a lot of detail, it's also pretty simplistic.
Right. So it's borderline rubber hose animation.
That's right.
And so the crazy thing is like, so when I think of rubber hose, I don't know why, but my brain switches to this automatic like dark place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like I don't know how you feel about it, but I always think of like the rapper Ghosty Mane or whatever, Ghost Mane, who's a rapper who deals with rubber hose animation. Old timey, like 1920s, 1930s. And so I automatically want to see like devil horns on this thing and like him dancing around and like doing some crazy stuff. But yeah, it is. It's a mix. It's like a mix of the two. It's kind of like a pop culture art and then rubber hose animation. It's a nice blend of it. I know they have a pretty solid fan base. I remember when they minted, bro, it was pretty big rage. Like,
yeah,
people were all about it.
They already have almost 2 million in aftermarket sales, so that's really cool to see as well.
The floor was lava, you know, there for a while, and with Melting Moonboys. So,
and the floor is still pretty thin too.
Look, the floor will heat up again, in my opinion. Like that's what I want to make sure happens, but not just to make the floor go. It's just because that's a good indicator, you know. Right. It's like lets everyone know how you feel. But yeah, the Moonboys do get their horns. Like you can see, there's a little horns on there. We have like a long horns version that I think is really cool. Like so you can have like these different levels of little devils. Right. I'm a horror guy. Like that's my favorite thing, you know. If you get into crypto, I think, you know, there are people who will kind of like hang out with you and do it. And then the people who are all done talking about crypto. So at a certain point, I'm like, you just got to do what you like because none of it makes sense. So I just got into horror. And like, I got into the gray ones because I'm like, these guys are creepy. I like them. But like the other ones were cute. So I had like nothing but gray ones. Yeah. And just was having like a lot of fun because there was a lot of space because it looked like, and it turned out to be absolutely true, that the infrastructure for this project was pretty quality. Like all the stuff was in place, but unlike say like, you know, and again, total respect to all these projects, I love it, I'm just talking like the Mallard Order, right? Or even, I'm not sure exactly even what the cons are doing, I just have a sense, but like there is no reindeer games really going on, so like, you know, there's none of that stuff that like keeps like sort of like everybody jumping and like hitting the button over and over again. And I was like, well, I want to do that. I'll go see if I can just do it anyway. But yeah, so we minted at 100, we minted out. And then we took a little bit to get to the spacesuits and the staking. But we even like yesterday we had a floor that was like 116, and now it's like a little bit lower. And I totally respect that, because, you know, sometimes you have to sell the Moonboys you like to get the ones you love. So that's okay. And we just did the spacesuits. Now they're not done minting yet. We have like, I don't know, somewhere close to 3,000 minted out of like 5,555. Every Moonboy gets a spacesuit basically, and in order to do the missions, you have to have a spacesuit. And the more missions you do, the more moon drops you can get. The moon drops make moon juice. Now the moon juice is what's going to allow this to become a more customizable experience. So for the way that we talk about it, it's mutations. But, you know, I was trying to avoid the word mutations because everybody uses it, but they caught me in the space and they were like, "Oh, are you talking about mutations?" I'm like, "Yep." I could not come up with a synonym. But yeah, so they're going to be the thing that lets you interact with the art, is your moon drops and how you make your moon juice. And beyond that, we are right now the Speed Thrones guys that are doing that race to earn game or whatever. It looks really cool. You nominate for your 3D Riders, so there's some Moonboys up for nomination there. If you want to go like to the Discord and vote, you don't have to vote for Moonboys. I don't know why you wouldn't, but you don't have to. And like we're working on the Space Troopers game and trying to like connect with that and just get more fun things going on in general. We're going to do a live Council of Moons. The Council of Moons is the special part of the Discord you get in if you have one of the moon passes. And we're going to try to brainstorm and just get some more fun things going on, because in between the big, like the technical jumps where you can now, like you have the staking and then you have the suits, and soon it's going to be sort of triangulating the things to properly participate. Like you want to be able to enjoy your toy. You know, it's like it being like, okay, you have a car, you know, you can drive it in 3 months. It's like, no, hey, you want to drive it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So you can now stake for the moon token, and then you use the moon token to buy the suits. Is that correct?
That's correct. And you can also use ADA to buy the suits, but you can entirely buy the moon suits with the moon token. And the link is in the Discord, and it's an Anvil hosted site. Anvil's pretty great. They'll host the site. They do mints. They do airdrops. And they're smooth. Like when we did the spacesuits, there was like a problem and it took like 15 minutes to fix. It was really great. Like I wasn't even up for long enough to experience the problem. I just saw that it fixed. Yeah, it was really like, so yeah, in the Discord, yeah, there's Crater, yeah, buddy. And he's it'll be in like major news. We should do better about making sure you can find these links, but at the same time, you know, it's not like that's the thing that's making them not mint out right now.
Where is the Ada Anvil link?
It should be. Oh, so I don't think it is an official link. So check major news.
Gotcha.
There we go.
I know I saw it earlier when I was looking through. I just couldn't remember it. Here it is.
Ta-da! And we call this guy here that's like servicing the ship, and like is really big with the stuff in his mouth, with all the moon juice in his mouth. That's Big Melty.
Oh, this dude.
Yeah. You got to build Melty to fix things up. It's like, hey, Big Melty. You go, whoa! It's like, take the moon juice out of your mouth, Melty. Come on. That's Big Melty. The main mascot is Melty. Only a couple of them have names. So there's Melty. That's the mascot. There's Big Melty. He got his name. He earned his name the same way I did. One of the other Moonboys gave it to him. So that's Kirk the Gray. I didn't pick that. Somebody gave it to me. And there's Melting Tanjiro, who is not, you know, he's now ascended. He's past regular Moonboy. You know, I don't know if you guys have run into Tanjiro online in the Twitter. It is a really fun guy. And let me just say, he just opened something that is super cool. It's called the Cardano River, or the River. And it's the new, as far as I know, it's the only one like it. It's a casino. It's an NFT based casino, and you go and you drop your handle and then check the slot machine on the site, and you might win an alpha toad. I don't know if that's still what's going on. I've missed the last couple of days. and like the casino setting up, there's blackjack, there's roulette, there's poker, and it's looking really tight. Like it might take a while to get like lifted off, but it would be cool like to have like a proper like casino setting instead of just always like, you know, okay, well, which Discord, which is the link, poker now, oh no, I'm 2 minutes late, it's not going to work, you know. Like there's a like it would be cool. Like anyway, so I thought that was really cool. So Tanjiro, Melting Tanjiro, he was one of the ones that really came out there and promoted it and did sort of led the way. And then he joined the Mallard Order, and there's this like fun little like meme thing where he was kidnapped by the Mallard Order, and I made some very creepy memes because I don't really have a sense of scale. And yeah, and like he continued to be the community manager for a while, but now he's got his own clubhouse and he has the river. So like now like I'm the community manager ish, like I take on the roles, but my actual role is writer.
Gotcha. That's so cool. I was looking at the moon juice. In order to get the moon juice, you have to get the moon drops, which you get through getting these spacesuits, which then have to sometimes be fixed, right? Like sometimes the spacesuits break or something like that.
Well, you're going on the mission, and so the thing is that like the coin is not really, it's a utility token in a sense, but it's a utility for. This is a sort of, the best way I can put it is an NFT experience. People are very touchy about the notion of a game. It's not a game exactly. It's more like if you guys have ever played D&D, like there's like a certain amount of like lead and there's playing along, but it's less immersive than that. You know, a lot of the Moonboys do their own projects. Like It's Danny has his own AI project that's really cool. I think it's called The Beginning of the End, or it's very good. I'm sorry that I missed the name. I'll tweet it out later. And like Anthrax or Mosh Pit Monkey, depending on where you see him, he hosted a really cool art contest that just wrapped up, and they're gonna pick the winner soon. That's between the Melting Moon Boys, her Monsters gang, and Deus Ex AI, and it was about combining the three projects in like an art piece, and like no hold barred, just go ahead and submit it. And like one of the Cardano, I think it's called the Cardano Art Collective, hosted the channel. It was very cool, and like it's just another way to like interconnect projects that aren't just straight, okay, you provide us the wallet and we'll provide you the thing. It's like, no, this is more like in the community, more like people expressing themselves who are not maybe technically based, and it makes the project more open for people to participate. So you earn the moon token, which will buy you spacesuits if we have, let's say, merchandise or something in the future, or let's say we have like a special collection, like we see that like other groups will put out like a, you know, like a what's it, the Overexposed put out the collector's cache, which are very cool, like camera-headed people, but it's not the main collection, and you can sell it or you can keep it or you can use it. So if we have something like that, that's probably something you can buy with the moon token. We also have auctions, and also we're on the mutant staking platform for auctioning, so you can do that with moon token too. But when the missions actually get going, the spacesuits are going to have like, there's going to be a percentage, there'll be some narrativization of this obviously, but like there'll be like some chance that things can go wrong, you know, and if the suit does incur damage, you do need to spend moon token to fix it, so you can continue to collect your moon drops. The process of how you can turn the moon drops into moon juice is not something I'm entirely sure how it's going to work, but I've been impressed with like every turn in the road so far, to the point where I joined the team. I couldn't stay back. So I'm just excited. I'm just as excited as everyone else to find out those kinds of specifics, you know. But like I said, because I've been impressed the whole way, and because our artist Franny is so good, and like I'm so excited for like that kind of mutation from this, that like the truth is I'm here for the long haul. Obviously I think this is like a long-term project, so the suits will work a little bit like the frames for the Ape Society, but again, because moon token is not exactly like society token, it will not be the same experience. And that's the short version. Yeah, you bet you didn't know I had one of those.
So you guys have been around for a while. Well, just like 4 months, which seems like a full calendar year.
Oh yeah, so it's like yeah.
It's like you're OG at that point. You know what I mean?
I remember when we minted ADA was still $101.
Yeah, I remember. No, but so what's one thing like you think you could improve upon in one aspect? You know, like you know, for me, sometimes I'm super bad at like communication. Like sometimes I remove myself from the space, because sometimes I get like overwhelmed and it's like I have all these thoughts and like my mind's going. And so instead of projecting or having like somebody on a team like I can throw these things to, I put all of this stuff on myself. And so now it's like, you know, I'm starting to turtle up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, oh crap, you know, this is
I
getting
know it really
overwhelming.
well, and I'm sorry to hear that too. Yeah.
And so what's one thing like you think you can improve upon, you know, or what's one thing that like you learned the most in the last, like, let's say 4 months or whatever it may be?
Sure. Well, you know, honestly, I had a different answer to the question when you first asked it than when you had your follow-up explanation. So I'm going to give you both answers. The easy answer was like the one that immediately sprung to mind, which is raise the entertainment value. That's just 100% the NFT space, the crypto space, really, but I'm less concerned with that at the moment. The entertainment value in the space is very low because far too many people know how to use their computers. People in the world, like the people we need to sell to in a wider audience, that's going to raise us like orders of magnitude in terms of viewership and stuff. They don't know how to use their VCRs. Remember, that was the joke for years. We can't program our VCRs. Like people here, even like I know more than my friends. I'm an idiot. I do not know how to use a computer. Like, you know, people around here, they're so proficient, they don't understand why we might need a graphic user interface in order to utilize a protocol, because why can't we just look up the code like everyone else? It's like, no, it's the other way. Why can't you just be a dummy like everyone else and understand we cannot do this? You know, so like the entertainment value, 100%, because people are about what comes to the screen. That's like, it's a simple way of understanding it. Well, our version of entertainment in the Western world, 100%. What is it that appeared on my screen? And we only do that sometimes. And I want to see that happen more frequently and have a lot more diversity in it. So like there can be like, if you enjoy one thing, that's there for you. If you enjoy another thing, that's there for you, because there's so much active participation. There's no reason why it can't be spread around. People want to share their art. They want to share their ideas. I love seeing stuff like Thorpe Brown, the Ape Society ape, publishing a book on like existentialism or something. Like that's what I'm talking about. So I want to be a part of that. But when you talk about like the mental health stuff and like the loneliness stuff and the scared stuff and the anxiety stuff, it's like, yeah, I think that's almost ubiquitous. Like I think it's all of us here. There's a little Moonboy self-affirmation section on the Discord, but people don't really use it. Like it's still there if you want it, but it's just a very encouraging crowd. Like I mean, I'm not in any Discords that aren't encouraging. So like, but yeah, I'll say like there's a lot of this. There's a lot of like big stickers, big smiles, big faces, and like I said, I'm a horror guy. I have my creepy stuff, but I'm not actually out to scare anybody today. You know, like so. Like, yeah, come in and like, I mean, I have a friend who's into the Moonboys and stuff, and like he so far he's not ready to talk. He's like, he just says, I'm just lurking right now. I'm like, don't sweat it. That's fine too. You know, if you're having fun, that's what counts. You know, it's like, it's when the thing you're doing that's making you uncomfortable that you really need to look at your behavior. It's if you're just not ready, it's like, do it when you're ready. Figure out how to get ready. You know, don't worry about your shortcomings. Focus on moving forward. Like Saitama says, One Punch Man. So.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I mean, I've definitely gone through my own version of that. I guess not necessarily from a project's point of view, but just from like a creator's point of view. Like, is the content I make good enough? Am I good enough? Did I speak in a certain way? Was my tone bad? Is that why people aren't watching? Like, did people not watch because I went down the wrong topic, or did I not seem energetic enough? And you just like wrap your head around all these things and you just don't sleep. And I think I've just done it for so long at this point that I'm just kind of like, I just have to be myself. And I think once people understand who I am, then they're going to continue to come back and not care. They're just going to be like, oh, this is Nick. This is how he talks. This is what he does. And I'm used to it, you know, but sometimes you might get a bunch of people come in that don't actually like you. Maybe they're just there because Kirk's online, right? And then so maybe only 20% stay at the end of it. And that's all fine. And I don't know. It just kind of takes, I guess, time to go through it, and you just eventually get over it. I think. I know I hate that. Like when people are just like, "Oh, just get over it." You don't need to tell somebody to get over it, but you do.
That's stage fright. People have mistaken anxiety for fright. Anxiety for like public speaking is different than stage fright. What you're describing is the real deal stage fright. And the truth is you never totally get over it. I don't know if you guys did this, but I have an expression which is you're never too good to warm up. And you better believe that before I logged in, I sat there going red leather, yellow leather. And I've been doing it since I was 11 years old. I'm not going to stop now. You're never too good to warm up. I used to teach English to Chinese students, which is sounds much better than it is, like little kids online, because as you know, if you're in crypto, you probably tried some other stuff first. And before I would tune into them, it was a half an hour, like, okay, the dog says woof kind of situation. You still warm up. You know, the stage fright doesn't go away. The question is, do you love it more? And the other question is, can you do anything else? And usually the answer is no, if you've gotten that far.
Yeah, actually, with Ozar in here, I just want to say what's up to Ozar, because me and him had a long conversation yesterday. And I was kind of telling him, like, you know, I'm almost 30. I'm like watching these TikToks about like people asking like, hey, what's it like to be 65? And this man explaining what it's like to be 65. And I'm like, holy crap, I cannot let myself like go another year without working out. Like I need to, you know, David Goggins, I need to go hard, you know, like, you know, stay hard, whatever it is, that mentality. I'm joking about it, but for real, like I want to have like a lot of positive impact on my life, and I want it to change as fast as possible. And one of the things that I've done most recently to really help myself with my anxiety and stuff like that is I write everything down. So just like you said,
Yes.
for practice, like I have probably like 7 sticky notes in front of me, all for questions, topics that we can go down, so that I don't have to worry about like, what do we talk about? It's like I have plenty of topics right here, and it keeps me in my place. It keeps me in my calm, you know, cool, collected place. So I don't know whatever yours might need to be, Cleano, but you know, maybe just write down some things and it'll help you figure it out.
I really need a checklist. Essentially, that's what it is. Okay, so there's got to be 2 different checklists. What is my real life checklist, and then what is my crypto checklist? Right? Like, what's the procedure? What's the what road do I need to head first, and then basically put everything into a compartment and work on the compartments. You know, and so. Yeah, it's just I'm just so used to I need to learn not to do things alone. You know, it's very hard because my wife is like, you're doing all this dork shit. Like, what are these pictures? Like, you know what I'm saying? So she's not fully supportive, but
my wife still calls it your internet thing. It's okay.
You could say, yeah, it's kind of weird. All your internet friends. I was like, yeah, but they talk to me.
No, I actually had my aunt hit me up the other day, and she was like, you know, she was saying some like really backhanded compliment type things to me, like, you know what, you're really brave for investing into such risky assets. And I was like, oh my God, okay.
You're like, I sure am. You know, for a loan in 6 months.
And so I'm sitting here, bro, when I'm sitting here and, you know, Cardano's at $3, I'm like, you stupid shits, you should have invested. And now they're like, well, the market's down 97%. Are you okay? And it's like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, leave me alone. Like, what do you want me to do?
The sheer amount of resentment, like this, like resentful, rueful crap that goes on with people. It's not just this space, but boy, oh boy, is it like, you know, it's like a rash around here. But like, just the whole, like, they know something was on the line and you might have lost it. And they come up and exactly what you said. I heard blah, blah, blah. Are you going to be okay? And it's just like, oh, I thought so. You know.
And so it's just like, you know, number one, don't play with money you can't afford to lose, right? The old trope. And then, you know, it doesn't bother me. Like, I know I've seen enough shit, right? Especially in the crypto sphere, that I'm not unshakable, but I'm pretty resilient, you know, I would say. And you know, you develop those calluses. And so I think you know, the 97% drop, the whatever drop it is, you know, it doesn't shake me. It's like, this is what happens in the market, you know. And I think anything worth its weight in gold or whatever is worth fighting for and worth investing in. And so if it's a downtime right now, invest if you truly believe, and then see where it takes you. You know, you'll learn a lot after this bear market, you know, about how rigid you are and how how much you believe in the market, right? We are shaking some people out. I've seen plenty of people that are like, yeah, maybe NFTs aren't going anywhere. Like, I'm selling everything. I've seen 4 people on my Twitter feed just this week that were like, no, I'm selling everything. And they legit sold.
Follow these people.
and
that's the way to get a deal, is to follow the right people. You know,
right.
Don't call them paper hands. Call them savvy and follow them. Yeah. But that's not funny. They're doing their thing.
Yeah.
And can you guys hear me?
I can now. You were kind of breaking up.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. My internet is like in and out right now. It's being weird.
You connected to McDonald's?
Man, I'm directly plugged in. I don't know why it does this, but recently I've been having.
Oh, it's the feds. Oh yeah, it's the feds.
Oh, speaking of the Fed, that's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, we have about 15 minutes. About 15 minutes until the Fed talk comes up. I think my internet's clearing out. I think it's good now.
Oh God, thank you.
It normally does this only for like a minute or two, but it's never happened on stream until now. So I was kind of just hoping it never would. But yeah, we're eventually going to go over the Fed's conversation because we're either going to raise by 0.5, that's what everybody's expecting, or we're going to raise by 0.75, which is, I think, the 25% probability. And then I don't think there is another option. I really don't think we raise by any lower or any more.
We were talking about this before, and I'm going to just reiterate it even more strongly. I hope he goes higher. I hope that he, and I don't want anyone to suffer. That's not the point. There's no way that the Fed is going to stop anyone from suffering or anything like that. That's not what they do. I hope he goes out there. I don't know the history exactly, but yeah, I hope it's 1%. Whatever he's got to do to knock people out of their stupor, where they think that they can just use the old tools, the old way, and wait it out. Like, this is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's just a lack of imagination on the part of people who happen to have too much money. So whatever he's got to do to put enough downward pressure to knock the cash out of, like, the hands of these people, like we were talking about Charlie Munger, who's like, oh, it's not quite low enough valued for Munger money. It's like, yeah, but because you have the GDP of a country, you're affecting us as though you're at trade war with America. Like, I'm not saying that he should be compelled by law to do anything. I'm saying, I'm an American, you're an American, spend some cash, buy some people lunch, build a statue to Charlie Munger, whatever you want to do. It's good for the economy. But by sitting on the money till it goes down, you're making it go down. You have that much of it. And I think in the crypto world, we appreciate that more because you can fud a bag with just a decent Twitter following. Like, now the US dollar shouldn't be something you can do that with, but it is.
I think if they raise by too much, though, it's going to put a lot of pressure on businesses to either do one of two things. They're either going to raise the price of their goods, which is going to increase inflation even more, or they're going to have to fire more people, which eventually the Fed actually does want unemployment rates to go up so that they can use that data to back a supporting thesis to start to lower rates again. So it's interesting that to raise rates would cause a scenario to where we could use that data.
Yep, there it goes again.
He's rugged. So wait, does it boot us out?
I don't know. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh,
am I back?
He's here.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know. Did I finish my? Where did I cut out?
No, so yours was like, so they want to raise unemployment rates.
Right. So they want to raise unemployment rates so that they can use that data to then lower rates. So it's interesting to me that they're raising rates so that they can get data to lower rates. But that's exactly what it is. It's the cycle.
It sounds like everybody's just fudging the numbers. Nobody has any idea what the hell they're really doing, And it's just kind of like, we'll throw some shit at the wall, see if it sticks. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so, I mean, here's the thing. Like, there are 4 million, I think the statistic was 4 million people right now between the ages of 18 and 25 that are unemployed. And that's just the male side, right? That's just the male side. And they're not even looking for a job.
Oh, wait, we're on that list.
I'm not.
I might be on that list. I mean,
I'm on that list.
I work, but like,
No, but I'm saying totally unemployed. I'm saying totally unemployed.
I don't think they would count me as employed.
Yeah, they don't count us. If you get paid in a non-traditional way, they don't even count you as employed.
Yeah, I also make under like 20,000 a year, so I'm sure I'm not even on the book.
You count as below the poverty level then, probably. Unless you do live with
Bro.
Why not?
Oh yeah, but you don't live by yourself. If you live by yourself, you could live off the government. You could be like get an Obama phone or something.
You should absolutely do it too, because it's not like you not doing it's going to help anything. So, any systems that can help you out, now is the time. Yeah.
Right. But it's like it is. There's jobs open. People are not taking them. And as a person who is in charge of the employment, in charge of employing people and creating a bench plan for a business, of what's up next, who's up next, and we're working through P&Ls and MBOs and other things like that. Like, I can tell you 100%, I could offer people $15, $20, and I'd still have openings. I'd still have people, which is great. I mean, that wage around here, which I live in Indiana, is great. Yeah. You can actually live pretty decent for that wage. And so it's kind of crazy to see, number one, the people that need the jobs right now or whatever are really tough prospects. I will say that, right? So I have to resort to hiring, part-time, like high school kids, which we know how reliable those kids are. And I can't have a kitchen, right, full of high school kids either, because, bro, everybody's requesting prom off. Everybody needs Friday off. Everybody needs Saturday off. Right. Whatever it is, and right?
How mad can you be at them, right? It's like you're not.
I can't. I understand. I'm like, go get crunk or lit or
you're
whatever.
A kid. It's like, now
is this turned? I don't know. Dude, all I know is I'm making pizzas.
When I worked at a Steak and Shake, and it was probably the entire kitchen was under 25. All right. And we had to lie to get our days off. So I told them something like, I have to go see my family member or whatever. So I took a 4 or 5 day vacation. My friend was like, yeah, I need to go see my grandma up in Maine or something. And then my other friend said like his mom had back surgery, which she did. And so he needed to stay at the house and watch her. But that's not what he did. So we all got in a car and drove to California, 36 hours, and just partied for 3 to 5 days in California. And on our way back, he was supposed to be working on the way back, but we got pulled over by horrible cops. They were pretty racist. And my 2 friends were black in the car, and they told me to get out the car. And then he told me to get into his truck so that I could have a statement away from the others in my cars, how I interpreted it. And then he was like, what do you have in the car? And he drugs, marijuana. And he just started listing the whole book of drugs. And he detained us for an hour and 30 minutes while he waited for a canine unit to come and sniff out my entire car. It was so annoying. But yeah, that's my story for young people don't care about their jobs.
Oh my God, cops, man, why?
Yeah, dude, it was so hot too. I think they stopped us in Texas or something. It was 105 on the side of the road. And they were like, oh yeah, you can't stand next to the car either. And they made us go stand out in the grass field or something. It was some bullshit.
Did you have northern?
Look at Rafreaky's comment.
He said, out here in Colorado, I don't consider anything under 75K too damn expensive to live off. 40 to 60K. Studio apartments are $1,800 a month
in Colorado. Wow. Ooh. Well, honestly, good for Colorado in a sense, but sorry, yeah. But that's heavy duty. And that's what I mean about these guys devaluing the actual currency by the way that they're utilizing it. And there should be no law stopping them. But you can see the effect. The fact of the matter is there's way too much in common between $1 and 1,000 that isn't in common in the same way when you shift the order of magnitude again. The scale's not right. We're valuing the dollar incorrectly, essentially. And the more that it gets siphoned off and is treated that way, like a commodity, waiting for it to have its proper value in order to be shifted back into the system, the less it can be an effective world reserve currency, because then you've made it ineffective. You've devalued it too much. you know, and even the notion of inflation is not entirely financial. Like if you look, you can see that like inflation is actually a cultural concept. Like people inflate the value away of things all the time. Like if you look at like the Catholic Church, if you get confirmation, you receive a little like slap from the priest. You know, just a little, nothing that hurts. But in the old days, this is relating back to like manhood rituals that would really just beat the living shit out of you. You'd sleep for 3 days afterwards and stuff. That's essentially an inflated value too. All value is a social construct or a cultural one.
Yeah, this is not indicative of the Catholic Church, and we do not do anything. Okay, just in case that they want to attack us.
If they don't do the slap anymore, that's actually on them. They should.
So the Fed is about to speak. We have about 4 minutes. I think we have a little talk from Biden beforehand.
Look at him, Joseph Byron.
Oh man, so
I was such a big supporter in 2004, and like it's a little off-putting just because that was 2004.
Yeah.
Back
you know,
when
so
parents bought their house.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see pretty soon. I've actually never watched it live, so I'm not sure if this is the correct channel. I've seen other YouTubers stream this channel, so I'm pretty sure like public news you can stream without getting in trouble. If not, I'll get demonetized. Not a big deal. It's just one video.
Live? Jesus Christ, Fox. Who's doing the copy over there? Raw and live was the freaking Chiron. I can't believe that's what they said. Raw and live. Raw and live, like unless you're selling fish, I don't want to see that, man. Like,
yeah, I tend to not, dude. I have focused so little on a federal level and a national scope, and I do not subscribe to any of that stuff. What I do is I actually pay attention to my school board and my local administration.
Localism.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I don't. I mean, this stuff, who cares, right? Like, I love Raw and live. From the studio, raw and live. And so, you know, I just don't, I rather focus on the stuff that's really around me to kind of work on that, you know, the community, you know, that I'm surrounded with, the people that I have to like share a city with.
Your
right?
Neighbor.
Right.
Hello, neighbor. I'm in Pittsburgh, so I get to go, hello, neighbor. Yeah.
It goes back to that old saying of just like you can only control what you control, or you can only worry about what you can control, right?
Stoicism.
Yeah.
That's realist, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which
you said you're from Pittsburgh?
Well, yeah. I got Pittsburgh. This is a scenic view of Pittsburgh right now. You can tell because the shade's closed. Oh,
so when so I took a trip to Connecticut, right? And we stopped in Philly, right? The airport. And I was like, dude, I've never had a Philly cheesesteak. Right. Yeah. And I was going to get one from the airport, but my wife was like, no, we got to catch another plane or whatever. And so there was a delay, bro. There was a delay. And my wife was like, I said, oh, I can't get a cheesesteak. Now I'm in the city of brotherly love, and I can't get a cheesesteak, a Philly cheesesteak in Philadelphia.
Show me love.
And so at that point, she was like, okay, if you want to go get one, you can get one. And I was like, no. And I was being stubborn at that point, just being an ass.
And like,
and so I really,
like, no, I don't want it.
Is it all that it's cracked up to be? Is it good?
Yeah. If you like it, like, you know, if you like that meat and that like really like American cheese whizzy cheese, which I do, it is really good. Like I like it enough that I've made it myself. Like I got the thing for no reason at all except that I like it and like, you know, cooked it all up and whatever. So I'm a big fan.
Nice. I have a Blackstone grill at home.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking like I'm probably gonna have to make one soon.
Yeah, man. Do you want to get like skillet sheets to put over it?
Yes.
That's the way to go. You want to get like that. You want the onion on there. You got
the green pepper, the banana pepper.
Exactly. Right.
The whole 9 yards.
What you do is if you use the grill for the steak, you want to cover the grill with onion first. Take the onion, that's what my favorite part of it. So
I used to work at a sandwich shop. I used to work at Penn Station, right?
Oh,
just for fun.
Do a kitchen. I'm giving you advice. Unbelievable. Look,
I I worked there specifically just because I had another full-time job, right? And I was going to college, and I had another full-time job. I worked there specifically for the employee discount. So you would get 75% off, and I just loved hot sandwiches, dude. I was going through this phase for like 2 years where it's like hot sandwich. That's all I want.
Nice.
It's a hot sandwich. And so
output focused, you can get what you want. That's like you were talking about employment and stuff. One of the problems is there are too many companies not output focused. Sorry.
Yeah.
My wife would smack me in the back of the head for that one.
She's not in there. So
No.
yeah. Yo, can we talk about SBF or what? Are we going to talk about SBF?
I don't know. Still the algorithm. Are we on YouTube?
We can definitely talk about that. I was actually just looking though to make sure that we were looking at the right thing. We can stop watching Biden for now because it's going to be on this channel, and the Fed actually already released what they're going to do, but I don't know where to find that yet. But they're going to have their speech in about a half an hour. But yeah, we can definitely talk about SBF if you like.
I think he bought my friend's house.
Really?
Like, because I was going on about like the Bahamians and stuff. It's like I have a buddy that's like from the Bahamas, and he couldn't sell his house for years, like talking about like having trouble selling a house. And then all of a sudden he was like, we finally sold it. And I was like, the FTX people are like buying up a ton of stuff. I wonder if they bought it. And then this whole thing happened. He was hiding in the Bahamas, and it's like, I don't know anything. So let me just tell you like an imaginary story. There's some stories about the Bahamas that are like, if you are wealthy enough, the rules are going to apply. This is just a story, though. Like, once upon a time in the Bahamas, I knew some people who were wealthy enough that they told me the story that if you're wealthy enough, then the sort of rules don't apply to you. So, I've heard that Bahamian prisons are really brutal. I don't think he's in one. I hope he's not. I don't think anybody should be in one. I don't think that that's going to be very helpful for anything. But yeah, I don't think he's in one. The number one way that I remember hearing in the story, in the hypothetical, that like the wealth was taken seriously is by owning property on the island. And that dude is one of the major property owners, and they tend to protect those guys. So a lot, like hypothetically and fictionally, there's a lot of like drug dealers and stuff that just live in the Bahamas under protections of the imaginary government. And I don't mean the government's imaginary. I mean in my story, which is not true. It's just talking for fun.
I don't like the situation. Obviously, I think like it's you as a person who creates this marketplace or whatever it is, FTX, right? You can't claim ignorance or dumb to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like we didn't know it was all in one wallet. And second of all, I'm going to say this. I can't stand that dude's voice.
Thank you.
It's so high and up there and I just can't do it.
It's like Stuart Smalley, right? It's like without the confidence.
Yes. For those who don't know, shut up, dog. So for you that don't know, Stuart Smalley was on SNL, right?
Before he was in the Senate.
What was it?
I said before he was in the Senate. It's Al Franken.
Oh, okay. No, who was it? Who am I thinking of? Off SNL.
Stuart Smalley is Al Franken's. I'm good enough. I'm
smart enough. And doggone it,
people like me. Yeah, that's it.
Right,
that's
dude.
Franken.
Watch that shit. That is Sam Bankman-Fried or whatever the heck his name is. SBF.
Fraud. It's like his name is Bankman-Fried, and it's just like fate really does love irony. Like, we are living in the era of inverted hyperbole.
If you watch CoffeeZilla, any of his interviews on there, I got to take my dog out real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, so if you watch any of the CoffeeZilla interviews where he's actually like, all right,
some of the CoffeeZilla where like he got like frustrated with the guy, it's like I think that you have whatever, but like Fried, in my opinion, has a plan. Although I am always very disappointed by villains and their lack of planning. Like we were always talking about Bernie Madoff, and I was like always shocked that he didn't have a backup plan. He was like, I'm going to take all the money. I'll eventually get caught, but it's going to be a good time till then.
He just kept saying over and over again. He was like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, it'd be like, so you don't know you're the CEO, you own most of the company, you don't know? And he's like, I had somebody else do that, and I didn't do the coding, so I don't know. It's like, well, I wasn't the accountant, so I didn't know. And it's like, bro, you're the dude who runs everything. You have meetings, you know, you're supposed to know. And even if you don't know, that doesn't excuse you from accidental fraud.
Oh,
like fraud is fraud.
Use him. But think, have you ever seen The Godfather Part 2?
I have not.
Oh. That seems weird because you're like 29. You should see it.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I haven't even seen The Godfather. I know.
Anyway, I'm gonna change the example, but it's gonna like I'm surprised. Anyway, like, you know, like, so think about Hillary Clinton, right? Like, this is not like a bad thing or anything. It's a proper legal defense, but it just happened like, you know, 6 years ago, where like she had to say, I don't recall, to like 700 billion questions or something. It was a lot of questions. I don't recall, I don't remember, I don't know. Because in a legal sense, you can't be prohibited from not knowing or from not remembering because you're a human being. So in a serious sense, that's still way better than taking the fifth. And like, it plays much better in public. With Sam, and I could be wrong, I could be overinterpreting it. I'm definitely one of those people who does overinterpret things. It seemed to me what he was doing was laying out a defense where he could just say, look, I didn't know, and sort of run out the testimony clock. People have very, very short memories, you know? So like right now we're talking about, dude, don't you know that this and this and that? And it's like, morally, yeah, you're right, he's immoral. But like, that's not the way the law works. And it's also not the way that like culture works. Morality is like, you know, a flavor or a spice. It's not definitive. So if he can run out the clock, then, and I think he's right to try. Not that I think he's a good guy or anything. I'm just saying, you know, it's always interesting to watch someone else's strategy. Like, if he can run out the clock, he has a real shot at a comeback. And that's why O'Leary was like, oh yeah, I trust him again, when it first all happened. Because at first they were going to keep it hush. You guys are unaware of how severely asymmetrical the crypto world is to the real world. Like, in terms of like asymmetrical, like I would say media warfare. So not literal warfare, but media competition. The crypto world could give any and all major news outlets, major media corporations a run for their money. And it's going to be a thing. So I would say that honestly, we would just be like, we'll get back to Sam later, unless the fact is that everyone here makes content, they keep content, and they're suspicious of the internet. So a lot of people here have files and like pictures and videos that aren't just Googleable, and they put them out and they circulate them and proliferate them. It's a very powerful thing to be able to do. I would say that Sam wouldn't have even had his little perp walk if it wasn't the crypto world he had burned.
Yeah, that's true too. And it was the scale at which he did it. It wasn't like just a couple 100 million, which is still a lot. You know, it was billions. It's like, dude, you messed up so large that you put the largest target on your back. And then you had I was watching BitBoy Crypto a little bit today. He had been going after him for a while, trying to get people to arrest him, which cool. But, you know, I also saw the tweet that he made about, I think it was Kevin O'Leary, calling him a murderer or something like that because of the whole boat thing with his wife,
It's so Trumpian. It's like when Trump was calling Scarborough a psycho Joe because the intern killed himself in his office. The guy had nothing to do with it, but it was
I think, and I think this is accurate. Okay, number one, Trump does it for views. I truly believe this dude, and people have said this, is the Alex Jones.
No, he is.
And now crypto.
Over. When I first saw him, I thought I was listening to Alex Jones. You're back on the air. Good job, man. No, you're talking crypto. You don't know about crypto. You're not talking about vitamins at all. What's going on?
Yeah. It's just weird. It's like, do you think people get too involved? People get too involved with their own, for lack of a better term, shit. You know, that they start to get a little goofy.
Yes, but I also think that is because the way that some people get famous or get views or whatever is by either attacking somebody or always being at the head of the extreme drama, right? And, you know, I think some people are kind of like I was kind of somebody to kind of shy away from that when I first started because I didn't want to like be a drama channel. I just wanted to be straight facts and like just keep doing my own thing and live happy. And if there was extreme drama, I didn't want somebody to attack me for any reason and have to deal with all that bull crap. But some people thrive off of it. And I think that BitBoy Crypto is one of them. And I think when he sees drama, he's like, oh, cool, let's go. You know, and he just like dives headfirst into it. And it gets him clicks and it gets him followers. And, you know, I think in the long run, it's going to shoot himself in the foot with it. But
he's already done it. He just hasn't figured it out yet. Like that stuff just, you know, the rot's already begun. The smell hasn't hit his nose. Like it's unfortunate. I think he seems really nice. Right? Obviously, I don't know anybody. I watch YouTube, but like I used to hang out a lot in Memphis, and I kind of like know these kinds of guys, the good old boys. You know, like they're okay. They're really good guys and everything. They are very tough and very naive people. And like when I say naive, it's not an insult. I mean, they believe that the world runs on right and wrong, and it just doesn't. Right. It just doesn't. Like he's talking about how well he can defend himself, the facts that he has. And it's like, that is not the way that the legal system works. Facts do not matter. Like, not really. If you are going into this thinking, oh, I have this series of facts and therefore the truth on my side, it will not work. Like if you're dealing with the FBI, and let's say, like hypothetically speaking, in my pretend story, hi guys, I know you're watching. You were to say, I ate a peanut butter sandwich on a Tuesday under a tree in the park, and then someone else, for reasons that had nothing to do, it doesn't matter. The point is that then someone else was able to, hey, what's up, man? Broken on the blockchain. Then someone else testified in the same hearing or just in the same investigation. Could be way later, totally like unrelated, that you in fact ate a jelly sandwich. If they accept the testimony, the FBI does, that becomes the truth in a legal sense. And you can be prosecuted for lying to the FBI. It doesn't matter if you told the truth in an objective sense or not. That's not the way the law works. When you enter the court, you've entered a liminal space. You've entered an area where the rules of nature are no longer in control. So that's what scares me, is when I hear that kind of stuff and I'm like, it's going to cause such a firestorm. He thinks he can go on Alex Jones because he's a free American who can do what he wants. And it's like, no, you're going to incur the wrath of other self-righteous, like I said, pearl-clutching, hand-wringing free Americans who will decide that you're not allowed to go on Alex Jones. That's all by itself enough to go after you. And it's not fair, and it's not right, and it will happen.
That stinks. Clean, you got your mic off, homie.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I felt like I was my parents there for a minute. Sorry. God damn it. I'm getting old. So anyway, the most hilarious thing is this is all recorded. You know what I mean? Like every single tirade, every single shit Twitter post, like whatever it is, bad take, awful, like it's all recorded. And you know somebody's sitting there just like rubbing their like greasy palms together, waiting for him to do another crappy take so they can just compile all this stuff and then boom, just mass drop it and just be like, look at this idiot that everybody's listening to. And then his career's done. It's done. It's over. You know what I mean? And you know, he has a mountain of wealth, I'm sure. I'm sure he has a mountain of wealth. He doesn't have to worry about the rest of his life. But it's crazy.
Didn't they just hit Alex Jones with like a $7 trillion fine or something for what he said about Sandy Hook? Like with some absurd amount of money.
Oh, they sued him, but dude,
yeah.
Like they got him on some preposterous like it's not about how you feel about Sandy Hook. It's a preposterous civil charge. You shouldn't be allowed to like sue people for astronomical amounts of money. That's not what the legal system's for, you know. And like it was because he had said at some point that the Sandy Hook kids might have been not what they seemed or something. Like I can't
paid actors. First of all, I don't know if we can talk.
He said
I don't know if we can talk about this.
Actors. What?
I think we can talk about it.
Okay.
We just can't agree or disagree, I guess.
But like we're
not saying anything about the federal government or anything like that. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Earlier today for using the word Jew in the quote of quoting Shakespeare. I was quoting Macbeth. Somebody had started the double toil and trouble, and one of the ingredients is liver of blaspheming Jew. And I had continued it because they were talking about what the items could actually mean. I'm like, well, what do you think liver of blaspheming Jew is? It's like, hey, Jew is a derogatory word, not cool. You can't use it. I'm like, I am a Jew. Since when is it a bad?
I know.
This is unbelievable. It's like at a certain point, maybe you're the bigot. Like seriously, read the book. Like it's in the public domain. It's free. Just go. It's like if you're gonna quote the first half, just read the whole thing.
And you heard what Kanye was saying about Jews, and he got I think he lost his deal with Adidas for it and some other deals. But like, you know, I don't know. I don't really think that what Kanye said was all that bad. But I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know exactly what he said, but he basically was just saying that like, Jewish people held like most of the money in the world or something like that. And if you look at all the top positions from, I think it was like Apple or just a lot of tech companies and big companies and banks and all that, a lot of the top people are Jewish people. And that was where he was getting at, but he said it in a way.
There's something to be proud of. It's always an accusation. I'm always like, yeah, but like whenever I read those books, like about like, you know, different like other groups, it's always like, you know, the top 10 like Irish American like, you know, executives, and it's like, how come when I get those lists, it's always a bad thing? It's like it's supposed to be a good thing.
Well, so okay, so what he said. Okay, first of all, what he said, and it was true. Okay, that 90% of the executives at like the entertainment industry, something that he is involved in.
Oh yeah, hell, nailed that. He nailed that. He's like, there are a lot of Jews in the entertainment industry.
Are Jewish, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like,
I come from entertainment.
you're thinking like Disney. You're thinking Sony, BMG. You're thinking about all of these places, right? And they're held. These top positions are all held. He's like everybody in the red, and it's like a sea of red is just like straight up Jewish. And so, is there like a Jewish ceiling inside the entertainment industry? Because I think, you know, he went off again and he said something about Hitler, and I was like, shit, he's off his rocker. I ain't
sometimes he goes too far.
Hey, Yeezy, I'm dropping out right now. Okay, this is the dropout.
You had me until Hitler.
Yeah, you had me a little bit. I mean, I could see where I could see what he's saying. Like everybody knows that, you know, Jewish people do have a prominent role in the entertainment industry. That's the way it is. Most of the executives, right? When you're looking at like the Weinsteins, Spielbergs, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I guess Kirk brings up a good point. You know, he's mainly talking about American businesses, right?
Yeah, what he's really talking about is this sort of like, it's an ideological thing. I don't know if you guys know who Slavoj Žižek is. Like he's a socialist philosopher. He's living and he's really awesome. What does it say?
This is a good point.
They'd be in the mob, they're Mexican. Yeah, it's totally real. Exactly. So whatever you don't like, then you figure out what's wrong with it later. You know, and like yeah, I'm Kirk, Montana. So 10 people tend to assume I'm Italian. I do have some Italian in there, but yeah, like you just get hit with whatever people assume you're up to. You know, like if they think you're on the other side of the argument, they're on the one side of. They won't even hear the words you're actually saying. They're going to just hear the you know, the kabuki. The social play, you know, the lines that are supposed to be there.
Fugazi.
Right. That's right. It's all Fugazi. It's a fake. It's nonsense. And like, what was it? It was like the line, the Chappelle line that was so good was, there are a lot of black people in Ferguson. It's not like we run the place. Yeah. You know? Like, it was like dead on. It's just like, yeah, like Jews like to like. Our manhood ritual is literally memorizing a bunch of words in a story and then reciting it. And like when you memorize it, you have to talk about it at length. We're just into reading and writing books and shit. You know what I mean? Like you talk about passing stuff down from like one like generation to another. It's just like, well, did you read this? No. Okay, we can't talk then. And the guy walks away. You know, so it's just like, of course, we're gonna end up like wanting to do that kind of stuff. And the other thing is entertainment's relatively new. You know, in that sense. Like
that is funny. He was like,
Jews aren't a part of. You know.
When Chappelle was like, yeah, if they're Italian, it's the mob. If they're Mexican, it's a gang. You know, and if they're Jewish, it's just a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? He said that shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, during some sort of, I think, stand up or whatever it was, and it was like silently saying some shit without saying shit. And I appreciate Dave Chappelle. I didn't like his earlier work, but now that he's kind of out of the Chappelle show, I love the Chappelle show. That shit was amazing.
I love all of Chappelle.
And so
man, I love Half Baked. That movie was quality.
Half Baked. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah. And so he went through this monologue, and his monologues as of lately have been so good. You know, I even watched the special where he had an auditorium at the university in which he went to named after him. And he ended up taking his name off of it and put it underneath somebody else's name, you know, out of respect for that other person. And I watched that entire thing. It was supposed to be boring, you know, but Chappelle made it into this story, this great story. So I appreciate his stand-up now more so than when he was in his like 20s and stuff.
He's much better now. Bill Burr too. Like if you've seen
Bill Burr, absolutely.
I think my favorite comedian.
He's amazing, and like his newest one, the Netflix one, is just incredible. Like and
is it Paper Tiger?
No,
Live at the Red Rock.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
very, very, very good. And they talk about like I watched it with my wife, and we're both like crying, laughing at this thing. And at the end of it, he goes, "I've said some pretty controversial things." And through the whole thing, I'm going, "Oh, I'm glad you said that. Hey, Bill's getting some stuff right." And I go, "Ah, that wasn't that controversial." And she's like, "Oh my god." Like, yeah,
yeah. So I used to listen to Bill Burr. His what was it, Monday morning podcast that was done on Sunday or something like that, or Tuesday or whatever it was, and man, he just got me hooked. It was something to pass the time. And, he would talk about some funny things or whatever. And he'd do like, honestly, if you've never heard an ad from Bill Burr, it's probably the funniest thing because he would sit there during the ad that he's trying to run. Like he did like this one. It was like Indochina or whatever like that. And he would just, you could tell he was clearly reading off this card. And then he was like, "Why am I promoting this? I have no idea what this is." And he'd say it right then and there. But he says, "This is the best. I'm just supposed to say that this is the best. This is the best." And so Bill Burr was great. I liked Bill Burr. I did like Louis C.K.
Before he died in the horrible masturbation accident.
Yeah, that was,
Wait, I'm lost. What happened?
Okay, so he I guess he went up to a girl's hotel. Got into her room, right?
This is
he was invited in, okay, and then he ended up being like, "Hey, can I jerk off in front of you? You watch. It's kind of hot to me,
It's a thing among stand-ups. I don't know why. A lot. It's not the only time I've heard it from pros, but I also know some. They like to be watched when they jerk it. I don't know. It's not all of them, but it is a thing.
They're up on stage.
Stand up. It's like if you've ever been in a writer's room, this is just not that unreasonable. Like it's just not that crazy.
To each their own, I suppose.
Hey, without getting too personal or whatever, without getting too personal, somebody at some point has watched you jerk off. If you've ever been in a relationship, probably.
Yeah. Or have you ever been caught?
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
Atlanick, you take a shower with a girl and you're like, "Hey, I got to take care of some business real quick." She's watching your ass, all right?
Why would I take a shower and jerk off if I got a girlfriend?
Because
this is exactly the kind of conversation where I found out that people dig getting watched.
Sometimes you just want to get it done and out of the way. And girls, I'm going to say this right now, are terrible at fucking hand jobs. They are. Hold on. Who can beat my dick better than me?
Oh my god.
Nobody.
Hey, all right. I feel you.
On us too.
Wait, you think you can out hand job me on
my
own?
Look, it's not about who's better. It's not about who's better. It's about who's doing the job.
That you can
use. What I'm saying?
I'm top of the charts, dude. I know exactly what I need. All right.
This is what's missing from the Olympics too. Blowjobs, hand jobs, StarCraft. These things are missing from the Olympics.
Right. Clearly.
I did want to say though, I did actually find what the Fed raised by. So they raised by 0.5, and they are slowing down. So the article that I've had up, it says the Federal Reserve officials slowed their campaign to cool the economy at their meeting on Wednesday. And they also signaled that they are expecting inflation to prove to be more stubborn than they had previously expected, and indicated that they expect to raise interest rates more by the next year, and more than they had initially forecasted as well. Policymakers voted at this meeting to raise borrowing costs by 0.5 percentage point, a pullback after 4 straight 3/4 point moves. Their policy rate is now set to a 4.25 to a 4.5. Did they just take that away from me? They just took that away from me. They just deleted that.
See, this is why people don't trust the internet anymore.
Bruh. Well, I read it. It's recorded.
Because I read that and it said it increased to 0.25. And so if they've increased it to 0.5, that's different than what they originally showed on there.
No. The other thing that we were looking at
It's getting very Soviet around here. They're going to start sending us like the JPEGs to put in place. Like that's what they usually do in the Soviet satellite countries. Send them the picture for their encyclopedia and say, cut out the other ones, paste this in. The fact has changed. Yes. There's an old school expression from tomorrow. Everything has always been different.
This is kind of content.
I appreciate
I was
Mr.
at the
Durden.
peak where I was telling them nobody can.
Yeah, this is Pete Cardano content right here.
This is what it is right here.
But yeah, so
let's talk about the Fed rate. All
actually, right. Yeah, no, we don't really have to talk about that anymore. I mean, they raised by 0.5. Powell's going to come on in about 5 minutes. We don't really have to listen to that, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
It's very clear that he doesn't expect us to listen to him. He repeats himself. He does it like he's doing an act.
I expect that the market came down off of that. Yeah, let me see. Did we have a sharp
sharp drop?
That's a pretty sharp drop from, yeah, we were at 404 before he said that. We dropped pretty hard. I'm glad I bought some puts literally this morning. So let's go. But, you know, I really said for a while back, this is my trend line that you can see. I made it on a few videos that I thought 410 was the top. And we did hit it on one day, literally 410 on the dot, and we reversed down. And then we had some, I think it was actually back here. And we had this crazy day the other day. We went all the way up to 423. I can't find it. Why is this being difficult? Or it was like 423 the other day. I'm not tripping. Maybe I am tripping.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, this is the daily chart. That's why. This is all right. Let's go back to a 4-hour. So we peaked at like. Is it not going to show it? I swear we were all right. Whatever. We were higher.
A little blip above the old fettuccine.
Yeah, right I don't. There. Why is it not showing it? I thought it was 423. Never mind. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me look at my other chart.
Names for the charts.
Like Fibonacci's. I call them fettuccines. Just
the fettuccines.
Yeah,
I like that. I like
the fettuccine levels here.
The fettuccine series.
But yeah, Jesus, look how down we were. Do you see that?
Down to here.
We're down bad.
349. That's 50 basis points from where we are right now, and I think we could hit it again. That's one hell of a move if we do.
So you from put here, some puts in.
What do you think that would put Bitcoin at if it goes down there?
Oh man, it's really interesting to me that Bitcoin was sitting at 18,000 today. I was like, that makes no sense. And look, it's at 17,920 right now. Like when we were doing horrible, you know, Bitcoin was like down here, and then the market went up, and actually I think it was like here. The market went up, and Bitcoin still like was doing absolutely nothing. And then the market starts peaking out, and Bitcoin starts going up. And then the market's still peaked out, not moving at all, and Bitcoin goes up. The market crashes, and Bitcoin is staying higher. That's very interesting.
That makes sense to me. Like what I thought was if it was a good move, like in my mind, if you follow what Volcker did in the what Volcker did in the 80s is very much what Powell's trying to do now, which is the right idea, in my opinion. It led to a huge amount of prosperity. But when we see him put the hikes that are going in the direction people don't want, Bitcoin goes down. And when he does the thing they do want, it seems to go up. That's what I know. I'm not so good with the numbers, but that does seem to be what happens. So when you said 0.5 or 0.25, whoa, then I would imagine it's going to keep going up for a little bit. Probably lap around 20.
Yeah, I think the bottom for Bitcoin, and this is just stupid. Like I'm guessing, this is all clown numbers, guys. Okay,
clown numbers.
I'm saying like 9K is legit the lowest it will go.
Ooh, you're lower than me. I think it's 12.
You think it's 12?
That's I completely. I still haven't learned his name. I completely subscribe to the Coco Loco guy's assessment.
Okay.
He said 12 like months ago, and it seems to be holding. So
where would that put Cardano then?
It's like what? It's like what? 500 days until the next halving.
How many? Like a year and a half, roughly.
Yeah, year and a half, roughly.
Yeah.
So we still have to deal with this bullshit for another supposed like year and a half. So,
but this is always what I mean. Even the folks online are saying we're in the accumulation phase. I like all of these all these demarcations are fun. But like, yeah, like we're in the accumulation phase. So if people believe that, and honestly, like the YouTube content seems to support that because everyone's putting out there how to use a wallet, how to buy crypto safely, how to trade videos again. They do that once, basically once every other year, and it usually indicates that more money is going to come into the system. Very often before the indicators, like historically speaking, actually signal it's time to buy, you start to see the various sectors do better, like on a base level. So like forgetting for a moment how the stock market does before a recession, it's like if you were in the company, say, you would have seen an increase in your personal wealth before the general like economy was starting to go up if you were having a successful endeavor. What we're assuming with Cardano is that we're approaching like some serious affirmation of our successful endeavor. So even if we don't see the charts like change massively, it wouldn't be surprising if like this space continues to see sort of like positive growth, and that includes Bitcoin too. Because the truth is, one of the reasons it would be great for Powell to crash the economy, even though that sounds awful, is because Bitcoin, as far as I know, was designed to be a programmatic response to a 2008 level crisis. And so when Powell came out and said we're going to cause a 2008 level crisis, I'm like, it's happening. This is how you do a switch. It's like, yes, is the economy in the shitter? Yeah, in the same way that the shitter and the shower are connected.
Yeah, there was
in the shower, man. Yeah, I never heard of that.
I haven't either. I like that. But there's this guy that I watch, Trading Fraternity. Shout out to him. Not listening, but he was saying, you can really listen to like what people are saying, and they're telling you straight up. Like the Fed is telling you straight up and has been telling you straight up exactly what's going to happen. They've been saying we're looking for a soft landing. Now take out the word soft. They're looking to land. What happens? What is a landing? It means you come down. Like he told us from all the way at the top of the stock market, hey, we're looking for a soft landing. So it's like, all right, the Fed is saying that they're looking for stocks to come down in value. And if the Fed is telling you that, and they're the ones that control all the interest rates and how the market moves, then you should just kind of follow that. And Powell's still saying we're looking for a soft landing. So we're not there yet.
No.
And
but it's okay. So Nick, so as far as the YouTube grind goes, here within the next couple of months would probably be a really good time for you to like analyze everything, right?
I've been analyzing that,
and make predictions and start building towards like that bull run. So when bull run's there, right? Then it's like, I told you I was at the basement of it. I told you guys, look how rich you are now.
Yeah. So like the reverse of my aunt telling me I told you so now is just like when the bull market comes, I told you so, but no, I hate all that I told you so stuff. But yeah, I do want to get people prepared. I do want people to realize that this is a great time to start to average in. I mean, all honesty, I did not say to average in for all of this, but the other day I was talking with my best friends and I was like, look guys, I never told you to average in, but now I think you should average in. And I still think that we're going to go lower, but you don't really ever know. And we were buying, and my friends were buying, at like $1.50, some of us even in $2, and then watched it come all the way down to here. So that's why I say average in now, because yes, I do think it's going to go lower, but don't be a fool and waste this opportunity.
Yeah, if you buy at $2, if you're buying now, all you're doing is flattening out the bags a little bit. That's all you're doing. Like you're making your entry point so low right now.
Put that on a t-shirt.
It is.
Back is Atlanick told me so.
It looks like a flat line. You know what I'm saying? How much lower can we go? Not much. I mean, we're at like what, 30 cents?
Go all the way to that line.
I mean, if we go back to hold on, I got to take out the chart a little bit further.
I was so happy to hear that FTX had been like actively propagandizing against Cardano. Like in the this, man, you have a business. So in the world of business, if your thing works, low expectations is a gift. You know what I mean? If your thing doesn't work, you need to play the media game hardcore. But like, look at FTX. But if your thing works, then actually you want to like, it's just like also like if you're running for office, you want low expectations if you're good at it and high expectations if you're not. If the expectations are too high, everyone kind of goes, what were we thinking?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like, I think look, 10 cents, maybe 9 cents is going to be the low for Cardano if it goes back to, these levels. But I mean, cause it's pretty consistent. I mean, that's 4. I don't know.
I mean, I told you I cashed in my 401k.
Oh, did you?
That is a good move.
Oh, okay. That's actually not a bad idea because you'll pay the penalty, but if you use that money to buy back in at the low, after it goes down another 20, 30%, whatever, then that 20, 30% that it went down, you paid those percentages anyways in the fees. And now you can use that to invest into something that's going to go, I don't know, if Cardano returns back to $3 from 30 cents, that's what? It's a lot of money.
I think it's going to probably go back to $3 relatively soon. I know that like one of the things that's going on is there's a huge anticipation that Cardano goes up by like 50%, which is not like huge. There are all of us who have been here when it was $3. It was going to go up to like 47 cents. But that would be a big deal in our little like group. And that could just happen off the tailwind of whatever happens right now with Bitcoin. All by itself, it could hop up and it could take until January to crash again. And I would think that, it would go down. But it's possible Cardano does not crash with Bitcoin because you would think, like, look at what was happening with Solana. Solana was back up at $35, even though it wasn't working, and like all the people on Solana are still super active as people and everything.
Sol's at like 14, I think, right now.
It's what?
Sol's at like 14.
14. Yep. The fact that it's going back up is interesting too. And like, And like it went back down, and like you could say yes, the FTX thing happened, but it's remarkable how closely linked to Bitcoin it was too. And I think it's both things, like everything is so interconnected, but also like who knows, like which is the causal thing. Like we are observing that it happened. So it's possible that like because we don't see that level of volatility based on the Bitcoin price with Cardano, and I could be wrong because what do I know? But to me, it seems like it's possible that Cardano stays where it is in the 30s because it's almost like a narrative reason. It's like what we find out is that FTX is fudding. They're doing bad propaganda against Cardano, asking their people to shove it down the list and everything and keep the price down. So we know it's already a false price. We always suspected that there was something wrong with this valuation. But now we know like some instrumentation like that led us to this conclusion. So it's possible that because it's such a false price in the first place, it won't be subject to the same kind of like influences. But
if people think that it's going to stay at 30 cents, then there's no incentive to hold right now either. So that in and of itself could cause people to sell out as well, just knowing that, oh, I have many months to buy back in before we go up anyways.
Well,
not if you buy NFTs.
That's true.
Here's the thing. So when you're talking about like, let's say around 100 and some odd K dollars, right? And you're throwing it at ADA right now at 30 cents. And then you have staking. And I'm telling you, like just through staking alone, based on what I put into the market, like I'm going to be just fine.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The non-custodial staking incentive is huge and nobody knows about it.
Right.
People in Cardano are unsure about it.
Because you're getting 5% on average back in Cardano, and it doesn't matter that Cardano is not worth anything because when it goes back up, it will be.
Right.
So you can essentially view all those gains as just delayed.
Scale up. If it's not worth anything, it shouldn't be your problem then. Just arbitrage your way up and keep doing it. Don't worry about it.
And so as the market is tanking, right? As my 401k is tanking, I'm not earning anything on that. Right. I'm not earning money. I'm not doing anything good with it. At least with staking, I know I'm earning 4 to 5%, 4% generally on my rewards instead of it tanking and getting devalued, right, over and over and over again.
I mean, the 401k, right? It was designed so you didn't have to be financially literate. It was so you have one job and not two. But since in this world, being financially literate, it's actually easier to be financially literate than to be financially illiterate in the crypto world. Then of course that makes more sense because you don't need a system to mitigate your cash. You actually can handle it. Like you said, staking it is going to pay off better than any 401k will because of its volatility. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It just made sense to me. And, so I played like a little bit. I'm pretty much just stacking right now. I've sold most of my Kongs, which is like a lot.
I saw you delisted your Kong.
I did. I delisted it. Instead, I decided to take some of my other ones and kind of list those. And was it a lot? Yes. Don't get me wrong. Like I like Kongs. I've always loved Kongs. But the thing is like, it's moving way too slow for me. And I don't know what to expect after mushrooms.
Can I ask you, like, I've always been really interested in Kongs. I think the art's nifty, but I missed out on the whole thing. I don't have one, and I don't know what Congress is. I was wondering if you could tell me.
Congress, okay, is a social aspect of it, to where we propose things for the team and we come up with ideas, and then we propose them to the team for them to produce. So far, if we're being 100% honest, none of that shit has happened. Okay. I don't know what they're doing on a daily basis besides like creating the art or whatever, which is phenomenal. I love it.
That's a really good looking monkey.
Like, yeah, that's clean right there.
It's really great. That one's mine,
nice one, man.
and I like that one. But I was sitting here with a lot of liquidity. Yeah, that's the boss Kong right there.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm sitting there with a lot of liquidity in this thing, and I'm like, no, like I don't know what's happening. I don't know what this team is doing. They don't communicate very well, even with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I hung out with Deckard, I hung out with the artist in Vegas, and that was a really cool time. And we ate sushi together. And
that guy is awesome. I gotta go.
Deckard is awesome. Yeah, but I feel like the team surrounding it, I don't know exactly what's happening, and I've lost a little bit of faith.
Well, but if you own it though, is Kongs like Moonboys? Like you own the intellectual property rights and whatnot?
Right. So technically I could, yeah.
Right. So like, I mean, the thing is, look, this is what I say a lot. And there are no, like you were talking about the Weinsteins before. Those guys are excellent producers. You don't have to talk about their personal lives. The things that they have made happen, like, that goes beyond movies. Like there would be no Ben Affleck and Matt Damon phenomenon without Weinstein making it happen. He's essentially a feudal lord. Again, not about his personal life. I'm just talking about what he did for like 90s entertainment. And like, there's no producers here. So like, there's nobody here going like, okay, there's a Kong here. Like, what would it both fit with right now? Who can I call? Can we get I'm here talking to Atlanick. Like, honestly, this is cool for me because I was watching your show, man, like before Moonboys came out. I was like, oh, this guy seems to know what he's talking about. I still have my OG bear. Like,
thank you, man.
He's very cool. Like, and you are very chill to talk to. But it's the same thing. It's like there should be people in the groups going around making sure that people come and speak on the group's behalf, no matter what's going on, just to keep the presence active, just to keep the fire. And that's producer jobs, and producers work very hard.
So that's what we do. Like the community is propping this thing up, right?
That's great.
So we're running out of steam. Like I approached the team and I said, listen, I can get an animator. I can animate some of the stuff. We can come up with like a quick 30-second animated short.
Oh, that's great. Do you guys have any like script or anything?
I do. I had a storyboard and everything.
Dude, let's do it.
And that's the thing is like
why not? Like we're all in the space waiting for Bitcoin to stop being like pretend cheap. Let's go. Let's make I'm chilling out, like listening to like the headphones and stuff. I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Could
you make that without their permission and just like send it to them and be like, here, I did it.
Property right.
I could if I had. I have so many Kongs that I could create my own series with all of my Kongs, and they could have a little community. Right. I mean, this is
one of the world's greatest lawsuits too. You have a global product that may or may not equate to be a physical property. We're suing you for using it in a way you bought it, and we're saying that you misused it by bringing more value to the product. It would be one of the greatest court cases ever if it happened.
So I'm sitting there, and then I created lo-fi tracks. Right? I was like, release.
Oh, you did that, man. That's cool.
Release this to Kongs. Like, give every Kong holder these tracks, right? And I put a lot of shit into it, you know. It was a labor of love, and not this, but a different one. I have brand new tracks or whatever.
The Lucky Lizards, man, there were a lot of stuff.
Yeah, dude. I bought one of these and I use it on almost every single YouTube video that I make because I own it. Like I don't have to worry about copyright or anything. And it's like an hour long worth of tracks. Like this dude sold it for basically nothing.
Right.
Oh yeah, because he sold you like, and I'm sure it's excellent. But those guys are practicing and they're selling their practice tracks, which is good. That's how we got guitar solos in the first place. People didn't know that people like guitar solos until someone heard a practice and they're like, "Oh, that's awesome. What is it?" It's like scales. Yeah. You remember the guitar's been around since the Baroque era.
And so I created this thing. I approached the team. I was like, let's do this. Let's release this. You know, we can keep this train rolling. Like, let's get some hype going. And it was like, no, like if you could like work on it a little bit more or whatever. And the tracks that I had were not like, I would consider them on par, if not better than what's on the screen. Right. So there's a little bit, it's a little bit more melodic. It's a little bit more guitar solos inside there, but I like it overall feel wise more so maybe than the Lucky Lo-Fi or whatever. And so, you know, I was working on an animated short. I was working on, you know, music for this team, and the team didn't accept it. And it could be sour grapes or whatever, call it whatever it is. But ever since then, there hasn't been anything really. There was Las Vegas, which was cool. You know, originally they were going to do staking, but then they were worried about it. But, you know, my thing is teams don't necessarily worry about if they're worried about the inherent value, right, of staking with Ape Society, create your own, right? And it doesn't have to be a token. You can just unlock experience, right? And you use this,
I agree,
theoretical experience that's tied to this thing, right? To unlock more shit. And so, you know, there's ways around it. There's ways to circumvent all of these
things. There's nothing to worry about. It's easier to ask forgiveness and beg for permission, right? Like just do it. It's like, this sounds great. You have the intellectual property rights. You have the tracks. It's super easy to get it animated right now. Like, especially if you want to do a simple animation like a GIF to go with it, right? I bet that would be really cool. Also, we can find everyone's wallet, right? If you wanted to do an edition, why not hit everybody with it?
I can snapshot a policy ID in 2 seconds.
You go. I can't do any of that shit, but if I could, I'd be testing it like crazy. Like,
I can already do that. And so
Clean,
you are the chilled Kong then.
It doesn't mean one of them.
Do you have to pick up your kids at 3 today as well?
Here pretty soon, yeah.
Okay, so we have about 15 minutes left. Kirk, I just wanted to ask you if there's anything other with Moonboys that you wanted to share, because I know that we definitely got sidetracked, but I love it.
With the chilled Kongs in the form of this guy, we're gonna make I got it all out before. Thank you, guys. Buy Moonboys. You know my Twitter. Buy a Moonboy. Blah 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 blah. Buy Moonboy. It's my formula.
Gotcha. So a little bit about the juices though. You can stake now. You earn the Moon token. You can use the Moon token to buy suits. Sometimes the suits break, and you can use Moon tokens to then fix them.
Right.
You use the Moon tokens or the Moon suits to go onto expeditions to earn the Moon drops. And I read somewhere that you need 3 different Moon drops in order to create the Moon juice. But then I read somewhere else that it's a 50-50 if you'll create the juice. So do you still need all 3?
The early idea that it was like 50-50 to create the juice, but we were talking about the idea that, like, first of all, it's a bit volatile and then it expires. So, like, as opposed to just doing the straight like math with it. But the idea is that, like, the 3 different suits, because there are 3 different rarities, will allow you to collect various different things when you go on the mission. And in order to get the full, like, you know how like you will have like a certain amount of access if you have a certain amount of, say, like, you know, experience. Like, you can get into the level, you can play it hard, you can play it super hard. It's like you won't be able to have as much hands-on like ability to mutate if you don't have all 3 suits. It's not that you won't be able to play without all 3. It's that you just won't be as much in your control. So, like, you know how there are mutations, then there's a mega mutation. So it's like you have all 3, you're going to have the more powerful moon drops, more extreme change.
Okay. I like that. And then after the mutations, do you have anything coming up after that? Is that, you can tell me yes and it's secret, but I just want to know, is there anything planned past that?
What it is like, to call it planned would be unfair. It's not that it's exactly a secret. It's just until everybody kind of agrees, I don't want to say, oh, we think this, we think that, but that's where we're at. But yeah, it's just like we were talking about. It's just about making sure it's fun, keeping it moving, and looking to see what the opportunities really are. To my mind, the NFT, what we call the NFT space or the NFT market, is not crypto. It's entertainment. It's art. And it's not art in that very sort of very basic, like, oh, only paintings or only fine art sense. It's the broad spectrum. It's everything. It's like finding papyrus for the first time. Right. There's no internet material like this. So that's what I think.
I think it's a mixture of both, because you have projects like Ape Society where you can stake them, and only because their tokens worth so much, you're essentially earning, 20 to 38 or whatever it is per day, right? So there's actually like value there. That's kind of a business. And in my eyes, I view that as buying a business. But with some projects, like, with Clay Nation, even, it's not very clear exactly how you're going to make money with Clay. You don't stake it and earn a percentage every day. It's just they continue to build and make stuff. So in that sense, I would agree with you. With Clay, it's almost purely entertainment. And they've even gone down that route by hiring more entertainers. They're working with Good Charlotte. They're working with Snoop Dogg, Champ Medici. So yeah, I think it's kind of both. I wouldn't say NFTs are necessarily one or the other.
No, it's sort of like a floppy disk. It's like I remember people being confused about that too. It's like, wait, is that my picture or your picture? Because you handed me the disk and I put it on the computer. Is it still on the disk? And it's like, that's a very reasonable question in 1992.
So I just direct messaged you, Atlanick, something on Discord. Okay. And it's something that I really like and I actually really appreciate, and something that I'm probably going to implement with whatever I do next. Okay.
Should I show it or no?
Yeah, show it.
Okay.
Reveal.
It's just a simple proof of work, right? And so this is every day on the calendar year that this particular DGods, right, has worked, right? And if you click on a bubble, just click on one of those, right? Just any day, you can see
Frank's birthday.
Right. So you can see what they worked on that particular day. And so it's a log to show you that the team, what they're working on, what they're trying to do, what they're accomplishing.
I like this. This is like a very easy to look at, kind of like Jira or GitHub.
Right.
So
this is
it just
so
shows
cool.
It shows what they're doing, what they're building, what their ideas are. So it's a constantly moving roadmap. And you can see on one of the high impact days to where, they get a lot of crap done, like even in Discord, Twitter, Spaces, other things like that, and things that they're working on. And so this was part of DGods, okay, which transformed into Utes, which I am now into. And they've kind of showed, I've talked to them a lot. Yeah, show that art, maybe.
Yeah.
Boom. I don't know how to pull it up. What, OpenSea?
Dang.
I can go to OpenSea.
But so, and it's just it's cool. As soon as I got in,
no, it's Utes, right?
Yeah, some guy contacted me, and dang, you can't see.
Yeah,
that's it.
So no, of course not. Why not? So anyway, every single holder flipped Utes. That's not it.
Dude, what I typed in Utes, which one is it?
It's Y and then 00TS.
Oh man, OpenSea is such a nightmare. We can prevent this from happening to us, right?
Yeah. And so mine is, and keep in mind, this is on Sol. Like, I have no faith in Sol. Okay. Like,
yeah, I was curious when you bought that, but I was like, all right.
However, I do like this particular project because it's 4835 is mine.
4835.
Yeah. I do like this one because of what they're doing.
One of these.
That's not it.
nifty. But down. This is why I never got a Kong.
48.35. No,
That's not it.
Did you get scammed?
No.
OpenSea's a nightmare. It's not the JPEG store. It doesn't.
OpenSea. Go to Magic E instead.
Yeah.
Sorry, but anyway, so this team with Frank is his name from D-Gods. They've just been constantly working. It should be under top. Yeah, it should be under top. This is the top selling NFT right now on there. Why is it not on there?
It is also sold.
Yeah, which I don't have any faith in. So they're developing a bridge, and they might actually. I don't know whether they're going to plan to remit or what. But yeah,
I don't know how to find it.
Go to utes.com/staking.
utes.com/staking.
I wonder if you can do Explore. Go to Explore, and then type in 4835 there under the number.
So do the Utes have a token, like a project token?
They do actually. It's called Dust. So that's what you use to mint certain things. They're talking about doing. There's actually a release today that I haven't read up on yet. Why is this not working?
There we go. It was on leaderboard.
All the art, so it's not the worst thing that we're going through it. Like that's
there we go.
There it is.
That's cool.
So this one's mine.
Oh, that is cool.
And so eventually, I think their thing is they're going to allow people within the community to develop traits for NFTs.
That's awesome.
And they can basically highlight traits every week. You can buy it with Dust, and you can transform your NFT.
What's the floor on Utes?
Utes right now,
140,
it's like 143, 140, whatever. So it's like, that's like 1,500, 1,600.
Oh, that's good.
USD, about 20 million ADA based on price. No, I'm just kidding. It's
like, how many Moonboys is that, right? It's like, it's all fun, right?
Yeah. So it's
same problem. It's like that or a con, you know?
I just think like, don't get me wrong,
142.
Like, cons will have absolutely excellent art. Like I love the guys there. The community is top notch. They have more engagement than most NFT projects anywhere, you know. But the problem is like I don't know what's next, and frankly, I think people might get bored of it.
Well, it's a legit concern.
I mean, like the question is, what does it look like to sell the intellectual property rights to an NFT project? Do you need to have the majority of the original collection? Like, it's possible that you do, right? So let's say you wanted to sell it to Disney just for fun, right? You want to sell Chill Kongs to Disney. What are there, 5,000 of them?
8. Yeah. Sorry, okay. It's 8,888.
Right. Well, do you need 51% of that to go ahead and make that deal, or can you sell the individual thing that you own the property rights to as sort of a show, and then whatever derivations come from there, so long as they don't exactly match any of the other NFTs, are they legit? It's a question. I would say the second one more closely fits like the contract law I'm used to. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know. You know, it's all about how that gets worked out. Nobody's actually had a case over it yet. So
you're talking about selling the rights to the entire project?
Well, let's say you wanted to have a movie, Chill Kongs, the movie by Pixar, right? You'd have to sell the concept art, these NFTs, to Pixar. So the question is, to have it be Chilled Kongs, the movie, like, do you need 51% of the Chill Kong original series, or can you just have one and say, well, this is my guy, you can make original art based on him, and Chill Kongs is his name, and so I have the rights to that, and, you know, go ahead, and I'm going to charge you like $7 million for it, because your movie's probably going to make like, you know, a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I would imagine at the very least, you could at least make this Kong in this shirt with this undershirt, this bite, and that hat. And right. And if he's always wearing those exact things at all times, then you should be able to make it. No.
Right.
You know, but if he has to take off the hat, then I don't know.
But what if he puts on like, I don't know, like a tricorn with you know, like a series of letters on it that there aren't going to be anywhere. Is a new feature that's original work. You have the right to do that. It's not like in the policy ID is the closest thing to the thing that stops you from adding to the original thing. But here you're not even asking to add to the policy ID. You're saying it's derivative of the thing I own.
Right. And so, you know, when I'm sitting here doing an animated short and I'm doing the storyboard and I'm, you know, working and trying to get this thing out, like, I get it. Like, there are hoops to jump through, but to be quite honest with you, if I want to do this for the community or whatever, you know, let it pass for a little bit. Like, you can look over the storyboard, make sure that it's appropriate for your brand, you know, but I'm trying to do something here.
I would love to take a pass at your storyboard, though, if you just open to like fun criticism, like send it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I've passed off storyboards to Space Buds, right? And Nick, I told you about my Space Buds one.
Yeah.
Like, was it not on? It was good, right?
Yeah, and you wanted to incorporate it with
cornucopias.
No.
Cornucopias.
Corn and
Friends.
Corn and Friends.
Right.
Yeah, and they would land on like a corn planet. And then maybe they had to use the corn to make fuel so that they could get back, but they have to kill half the corn. But that's actually a good thing because it would play right into the Corn and Friends kind of lore because they were originally going to have a 10K or whatever collection, but they halved their collection, which would kind of coincide with the story of having to kill off half this corn for fuel. I liked it.
And so introducing fuel is always good for this kind of thing where you might want to have a thing but get rid of it later, you know.
Right. And so, you know, as they're like landing on the planet, you know, they're ripping through this corn and you know, it's turning into popcorn and shit like that or like whatever. And then the corn is just sitting there like waving in the wind or whatever, just trying to be still and silent while these stupid little animals come off this rocket ship, you know, and are looking for their founder. Because at the time, Barry said he was going to take a step back from Buds and he was going to try to create something. And so he did. He created another marketplace. He did so much shit for Cardano.
It's so cool.
And so, you know, these people are the community, right? The people that are on the spaceship are searching for their founder because they miss him. And he visits other planets and they take on the art form in which they're the planet they reside on, right? So you don't draw it in Space Bud style, or it's not some foreign Space Bud. Corn would draw it as corn style Space Buds.
You totally got it. You've totally got it. Like, it doesn't need to be a different chain or a different metaverse or anything. It just needs to be a different art style when it's in their territory.
Right.
You know? Definitely DM me, man.
I've already laid the shit and nobody fucking listens to me at all.
We'll do it with Moonboys then, all right? Scrap all the other projects. We're doing it with Moonboys.
We're doing it with Moonboys. That's it.
Come on, let's go. Yeah,
let's do it.
It was Earth Moon. Keep going.
and so, you know, and they don't have to be long. These could be 5-minute shorts, 10-minute shorts, or whatever.
The world is short attention span. Yeah.
And so, you know, you release it, and then, you know, we found a way where we can basically take the art, right, and do photo prints of it, have the artist sign it, and ship it off to people.
Like, the cleanup crew presents.
What?
The cleanup crew presents.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
you heard
I wanted to do. Again, like I said, I have all these things and I have these ideas, but it's like I have literally no team to sit there and be like, yes, this is the way forward. Like, this is what we need to do. Like, yes. So it's all on me, and I pressure myself.
You can ask the guys in the Discord. Like, definitely. Yeah, we're doing it with Moonboys. Just come over here. I'm not saying sell your stuff and sweep the floor. I'm saying let's make something fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I think in this day and age, people want to there are people that want to flip. I get that. Everybody wants to make a bag, dude. That's why we're here. Okay. But at the same, he's in his kid's room.
I only do things for fun.
Yeah. So
this is his office.
It's my daughter's room.
So he's like, it'd be funny if like it cut to him like in a tea party or some shit. Like just You know,
she's this pizza party. She makes pizza.
Right.
She's sitting across the table in like a business outfit, just like doing all the like business stuff in the background, like you're doing good, Dad.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's actually holding the cue cards.
So everybody wants. I mean, but as a community, you want to feel like, okay, this is our pride. Like this is our pride and joy. You know.
Yeah.
And this is our baby, and so everybody wants to feel connected.
We'd like to wear these.
Who has an animated short? How many people do? Not very many. Corn and Friends. That's it. And so, you know, I think.
I mean, that's like that's how I feel about NFTs. They're like they breed obsession.
Right. Right. And so I think having music, having an animated short is a good way to start a brand, a good way to actually have something on tap to where, yeah, if you wanted to approach like a music producer, right, you could. Oh, an animation studio. Oh, you could, because you have a proof of work.
Of course. And you guys have seen Mad Men, right?
Right.
Yeah. Like if it's an ad agency, first you would get the concept art, then you would take it to the boss. The boss would send it over to the music department. They'd make a jingle. Then you put it all together, and there'd be a packaging department. They'd take the radio show. They'd put the newspaper article together, you know, the ad for the paper and whatever. And then you'd launch the campaign and see how it did over the course of like 6 weeks. That's normal. We produce concept art, and we trade it with each other aggressively, which is cool because you get to see just how popular various very micro things are. But I think we lose sight of it because we forget that there is a populace, not just to sell to, but to sort of include in what I think is one of the most positive Western culture moves in my lifetime, which is crypto.
I think what you were saying too, it really resonated with me because you're saying, you know, you can do this and you can do that. And I think a lot of projects are like, hey, we want to do animation. It's like, okay, well, why not also do music, and why not also do this and also do this? Like, I think a lot of people get narrow-minded on one thing. And sure, if you do happen to be the best of the best at, let's say, animation, you will succeed. But why set yourself up for this one narrow scenario, right? Why not do a bunch of different things and offer a bunch of different things? You know, we're all in here, and we need, or at least for projects to succeed, it looks like we need constant engagement. And if you can make, you know, a little bit of music here, and then another few months you can make an animation, another few months you can do, you know, I mean, I know people don't necessarily love staking unless there's a utility for their coin, but staking, right? And then find utility for that staking, and all these things, just keep bringing more and more. Don't just hyper focus this one thing.
So I am part of Utes, the headphone club, right? Because my NFT has headphones. And so my role in the headphone club, guess what? Is I'm supposed to help promote. You know what I do? I make music. So cool. What's the first thing that I did when I went to and joined the headphone club, you know, a different sector of Utes, right? So we all have a leader in the headphone club, and we go to that leader and we propose ideas.
I heard about it. Yeah.
And so guess what I proposed? Hey, let me release these 3 tracks or whatever. You guys can decide whether you want to put them with the NFT or not. I don't really give a shit, but they need to be on the Spotify playlist. Nice. And he's like, well, send me the tracks. I'll listen to them. Boom, cleared. Already on the Spotify playlist.
Nice.
Accredited.
Oh, everything. Cool, man.
And so that's what I want to see. I want to see people that are like, hey, I'm part of this headphone club. We're in charge of music for the entire thing.
That's perfect, right? You're empowering holders.
Right. And so now you have different sectors, and you're guided by inclusion of the community. So it's like you have creative people in the market. Number one, if somebody is really good at being a music producer or producing music, and they want to be known and they want to show off their talent, guess what NFT they're going to buy? They're going to buy one with headphones so they can be in the headphone club. And now they can guide this project the best way they know how by getting the promotion out.
And they'll also buy your project over another project that doesn't have like already a sense of expression for the thing you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
There's going to be
happening.
there's going to be friendly competition within the project as well. It's going to be like, we want to beat out the people with the Jordans on, you know, like they do dunk contests, right? Like we want our project to be worth more than the dunk contest. So we want our music to be better, or, you know, they do dance recitals or whatever. So we want to make sure that our music sells more than the dances. Like there's competition. I mean, it's kind of like capitalism.
Yeah, that's right. And a little bit like the apes are doing too, because like, even though they're more focused on like things that will work on Web3, like I think, again, I don't know, but I think so. Like this would be pure entertainment.
I think we've had enough time, you know, in the Cardano community to experiment and do things for fun, right? Do things for fun, you know, and have a good time. I don't think metaverse is the next thing. Like I would never do anything with metaverse. That's just me.
You're in metaverse right now.
I know, but you know what I mean? Like as far as the world with the animations and this, that, and the other, right? The characters.
It'll be a thing.
No Ready Player One yet.
It could be, but it's not for me. And so I think we've had enough time to experiment, have fun, learn, and whatever. Now I think is the time where we need to focus. We need to have a project that is a brand. And I think
that's what Clay is.
That's how I feel about Moonboys. I'm not even kidding. That is why I got into the project. It's a transcendent image.
Yeah, honestly, all projects are their own brand. You know, Kongs are their own brand. You know, their brand is slowly fading away at the moment.
Right, but what are you doing with it, right?
They are their own brand, though.
That's the question. What are you doing with it?
Like, if you can put your NFT on a T-shirt and sell it and walk around, and people are like, "Oh, you own a Kong? That's cool." I mean, you're a brand. You know what I mean?
I did find a Kong randomly. That is from the same town I'm from.
Where? How?
Dude, in Twitter. We were both fans of Purdue football, and Purdue football was looking for a new coach. And so I saw this. I searched Purdue football coach, and sure as shit, there's this Kong being like, "Yo, we're gonna get a good hire." Like, la di da da. I was like, "Wait, you from my area?" And he's like, "Wait, you're from my area?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, bro! Let's do a meetup." So we're doing a meetup, and I'm gonna buy him a couple beers and stuff.
That is a great thing.
And
that's so
shit.
cool.
I gotta go pick up my kids.
Oh yeah. I forgot about those little dudes.
They on them bus stop. You know what I mean? You guys can continue if you guys want to chill or whatever, hang out. But
are you gonna jump right back or?
No, because after this I have homework. Then I have softball practice.
I should. There's things I should do on the real life.
Yeah, we have been on here for a while as well. I need to eat.
Need to develop it. Yeah.
But yeah, you're always welcome on here, man. I'll continue to we'll keep in touch, and I do have some people coming on next week as well, and we also might have Goombles coming on at the very end of the month. So
Goombles is exciting stuff. I don't even entirely understand it. It just is. Hey, what about Atlanick animation?
Yes,
that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You know, classic '90s sort of like regular, like kind of blonde animation, like, and you just talking. It'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about a second series NFT, same size, another 300 collection. I just need to have BlindGirl draw it because I want to keep her as my artist and give her some more work.
Very good.
Yeah. So we'll keep in touch, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. Great. And everybody who wants to go check out Moonboys, I have all of their socials in the description below, so go check them out. And remember, we are here to make more money, to spend more time. We get outside, see your family, see your friends. We're here to make more money so that we can spend more time with them. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Stay melty.
Stay melty.